Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivamy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of heroic television or film. And this week on the podcast, we are talking about The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
It's The Lost World. It's Jurassic Park. It's the rare we put the title at the end.
Yeah, they did the old flipsy doodle.
Not Jurassic Park, The Lost World.
Yeah. It ain't perfect in the naming.
I actually quite like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
it works as a good, phrase.
The Lost World, Jurassic
Park. There's a comma.
I would have preferred Jurassic Park, The Lost World. I would have preferred a traditional. And then also when you add Jurassic Park 3, it makes it all just chaos.
Oh, then it's just Fantastic Four fun. Fast and Furious fun.
Oh, okay.
I'm on a Fantastic Four mindset. I always am, though.
Yeah, you always are. So we're talking about the second Jurassic Park film today on the podcast. Dipping back into that in preparation for the new Jurassic World that will be coming out next week. Jurassic World Rebirth. That was what I said a moment ago. I was so confident moments ago.
I know, but I fucked you up by slightly insisting it might be called Dominion, even though that's one of the old ones.
We're all on this ride together, you know what I mean? So we'll be talking about Jurassic World Rebirth next week on the podcast. Before we get into this week's episode, I want to let you all know and remind you, I know I've mentioned it the past couple weeks, but if you're in the Vancouver area, come out and check out my show on July 19th. I will be at Chillax Studios in Vancouver doing a special one-night-only performance with some incredible special guests, Ivan Decker and Sophia Johnson, who are absolutely hilarious. You can get your tickets now. A link will be in this episode description, on my social media at Ivamy, or on my website, andrewivamy.com. If you're in the Vancouver area, come on out, get your tickets. It's going to be a blast of a time.
It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah. And let's get into the episode. Let's just get right into talking about Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park. All right, we have rewatched The Lost World, Jurassic Park from 1997. Diana, did you like it?
I did like it. It was better than I remembered. But parts of it are very bad. So it's a very unbalanced movie. I would say Act 1 is fine. Act 2 rules. Act 2 is kind of very similar to Jurassic Park 1. I think the dinosaur attacks are great. The kills are great. It's got a lot of tension. And then everything in San Diego sucks. So to me, it's a very segmented enjoyment of this film. I think as soon as they get to San Diego, I can turn this movie off. I don't care anymore. But the middle chunk actually on the island, I actually think is pretty good for the most part. So so in those terms, I'll give it a because I can just turn a movie off. So I liked quite a bit of it. I think the plotting is very weird. The third act seems very tacked on, and no characters get an arc resolution. No one grows or changes in any way, not even in slight ways that they introduced in Act 1 that they should be changing. People keep yelling at Jeff Goldblum about how his character arc should be different, and then he's just the same guy at the end. And that happens to pretty much every character who survives. It's not as satisfying as Jurassic Park 1 or anything like that, but it's pretty good. It's not as good as I would expect from Spielberg, but Act 2 holds it together for me. Andrew, how did you feel about The Lost World, Jurassic Park?
I'm very similar to you. It's a very uneven film. There's definitely there are some things in here, much like almost any Spielberg film, is that even when he misses, there are misses in here that your average filmmaker would kill to be as good as the failures of this. So there are moments of genius in here, but generally it's just kind of uneven and all over the place. I don't know if I want to agree with you about what works and what doesn't, because it's so all over the place. There are moments where I think that the San Diego stuff is maybe the most visually interesting, despite being the most story unmotivated. So it's very strange that I feel like the majority of attention to detail of the visual effects went to the San Diego sequence. Mm-hmm. So there are moments where that looks the best that anything has looked in the film. But then in terms of the actual tension and how a scene comes together, the cliffside bus scene is the best put together piece of tension and action in the entire film. So it feels like every bit of the movie got the most attention from a completely different department of the film, which makes it all very uneven and weird, but also gives everything its own weird little redeeming moments and everything like that. The weakest part of this is the script, and is, I think, the emotional direction of this movie as well. It's every character is Ian Malcolm. It's oops, all Ians. There's no real differentiating quality or factor between any of these characters other than on paper and not in their performance. So they're all kind of the same person, which makes it very bland and boring.
It is bland, except for a few moments where it's fun that they all have the same tone, which is very rare. Like when they're hanging off the tractor or something and all three of them make that same McDonald's joke about their order. Like, it's not a great joke, but it is a nice, like, that would be arguing if these people were any different than each other. But they're all like, no, we're all just hanging here together because we're the same. And I'm like, in some ways, it's fun sometimes. It's kind of like how Niles and Frasier are the same on Frasier.
Oh, interesting. You can highlight the
comedy.
differences if you want, but you can also make them the same person if you need. Yes,
So sometimes it works, but that's not what you should go for in a movie.
I understand.
The characters should be different. There should be differing points of view and skill levels. No one has a skill.
No one has a skill.
No one has a skill.
No one has a skill. Yeah.
They act like they do, and then they don't.
They don't. Yes. Yeah.
They act like all these people have skills, like Sarah's a paleontologist, Julianne Moore. So she like knows about the dinosaurs, and it never helps them once to escape dinosaurs, that she knows anything about dinosaurs. Ian Malcolm has survived Jurassic Park before. He knows all the tricks of the dinosaurs. Never helps them once to escape dinosaurs, except for the fact that he's like, we have to escape dinosaurs.
Yeah. Vince Vaughn's character,
is like some
Nick,
kind of soldier? Or just like a freedom fighter? Like
no, I think
Greenpeace
he's
guy?
like a war journalist. So it's like he's like, I've survived war zones, and now we're in a place with like guns and death. And is that going to come into play? It doesn't come into play.
No, the only thing he does that is useful is he knows how to like open cages that looked really easy to open.
I mean, it's just a switch. It's a toggle. Only one of them was locked that he had to use bolt cutters on.
So he brought bolt cutters is what he brings to the table.
What he brings.
The only person who had skills was Eddie, and he dies tragically first.
Yeah.
Because he could control all the equipment.
Yes. Yeah.
And save them from falling off the cliff. Eddie's a fucking hero.
Eddie's a hero. We can talk.
Eddie shouldn't have died.
Yeah. We can talk more about Eddie later.
But so they're all the same, and none of them bring any particular skills. Even the guy who hunts doesn't bring any hunting skills.
No, he doesn't
Except
really
for the fact that
particularly hunt.
I think the only thing he does is like use the kid as bait. Is his like, that's a skill, I guess.
Yeah, maybe that's a skill. Yeah, but also it's like all of the skills that they have, they are also equally bad at depending on the scene, which makes it all kind of irrelevant. You know, there are moments where like Julianne Moore's character, Sarah, is like, well, they're chasing the baby, and she figures that out. She's like, they're chasing the baby. They're going to chase the smell of the baby, and then goes around covered in the baby's blood and is surprised that it's chasing her. And it's like, okay, but so you're equally as smart as you are dumb, which actually kind of neutrals out all of your background at the same time.
Yeah,
like the main hunting guy doesn't know the names of animals and then hunts well, but then also hunts poorly. And none of it really tracks. It's all just kind of wishy-washy depending on the scene.
It is, and it's like such small writing things that are so easy to fix. Like if Julianne Moore's character is like, it tracks the smell of the baby, but then maybe someone else has the baby's blood on it and they haven't told that character. Like four people interacted with the baby.
Yeah.
So tons of characters could have the baby's blood on it. Instead, they're like, the smart character who knows she shouldn't have the baby's blood on it has the baby's blood on her.
And it's like, well, what?
It's like such a small, easy change.
It's so easy to fix. It's so easy to fix. Even some of the fact, like the main hunter, Roland, like the guy who's in charge of the expedition.
Pete Postlethwaite, if you haven't seen the movie in a bit.
That's right. Pete Postlethwaite is like, he does a great job of playing this character. And there's a moment where he's talking to the rich InGen guy. And he's just like, I'm in charge. I'm tired of like things getting fucked up because of dumb rich idiots. And when I'm not in charge, Dieter's in charge, who's played by Peter Stormare, another fantastic character actor. And then like he walks away immediately as the leader, and like Dieter's in charge, and that's when like the whole thing gets busted up by all the animals get loose, and he comes back, he's like, Dieter, you're not in charge again. And Dieter later dies by getting lost and falling over multiple times. Dieter is Mr. Magoo. And I'm like, that was your second in command? Better than the rich guy who signs the checks? The guy who electrocutes a little thing and then is killed by a bunch of little chickens and dies by falling over repeatedly and getting lost in the forest?
Yeah, was this Dieter's first day and he lied on his resume? Like, have you worked with Dieter before? He seems wildly incompetent.
He seems like a goof. Like, he is a Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor henchman type of kind of goof.
Yeah, to the point where, like, he's killed by small dinosaurs just because he wandered away.
Yeah.
Like, he's not killed by, like, a smart animal who, like, chose to, like, prey upon him and, like how, like, the raptors do to that other hunter in the first movie. They fuck him up because they're too smart. This is a guy who went too far away because he had to take a shit and really, he must have really had to go because he's going real far. He's trying to unbuckle his belt really urgently.
Yeah.
And he goes too far away. And I guess the whole time he's being killed by little dinosaurs, he had to poop.
I guess the whole time.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Or he did poop while he ran away from the dinosaur.
And took his jacket off to shit. Like, there's so much stuff that's just idiotic.
I wasn't going to question the male need to remove a jacket. I've seen the Seinfeld episode about George taking his shirt off when he goes to the bathroom.
I think it was just so this guy didn't have his guns or any equipment with him when he fell. But I'm like, that's very forced and weird. Yeah, they all kind of suck at their jobs.
They all kind of suck at their jobs. I love Pete Postlethwaite here, though, like, just performance-wise.
He's nailing it.
He's nailing, I think, even the character flaws, because you mentioned he doesn't know the names of the dinosaurs, but also dinosaur names are hard. So he's not an idiot about it. He's like, the one that looks like an Elvis Pompadour. I'm like, you know what? That is actually pretty universal, because also the guys you're working with don't know the names of the dinosaurs. You're all big game hunters.
Yeah.
So he brings a charm and an authority to it that is really, really great. I love Pete Postlethwaite.
He owns that character. He does own that character very well.
To the point where it's crazy he never comes back again, because he survives and just fucks off.
Yeah.
Like, in a way no one else ever has in a Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
Like, I was here to kill a dinosaur. I was set up as a villain. I didn't kill it, and I just walked away without consequence. Is not how these movies work.
Yes, that is true. He didn't get his comeuppance in any way.
No, he didn't get to kill a T-Rex, but his, like, best friend died, so he was sad, which I guess was his comeuppance, maybe. He got his best friend killed.
Maybe that's it. The best friend who's not particularly established in this movie in any way. But
he clearly respected him.
Yes, yes. And Vince Vaughn's character was not a bad guy, but did also just leave this franchise and get away clean.
He left the franchise. I assumed he died because Vince Vaughn has never come back, and everyone loves this character. I don't mean everyone in the real world. I mean everyone within universe is like, we love Nick.
This guy's cool.
Nick, he fucking rules. So I'm actually very surprised neither Pete Postlethwaite or Vince Vaughn's characters ever came back in the Jurassic Park series.
Yeah.
They just both walk away, having like had this little war, because Vince Vaughn takes the bullets out of his gun.
Yeah.
And that's why he doesn't kill the dinosaur. So they've kind of got this like arc between the two of them that just never is resolved. I'm like, is there like a tie-in comic?
I mean, there might be. I haven't done a deep dive on where it is that they're at. Yeah. Now, I do want to just kind of talk about, like, to reiterate the point, but kind of expand on it a little bit. How Pete Postlethwaite as Roland is the only one that's different, because all of these other characters, it's all Ian Malcolm's. And that's what I find really frustrating and really boring in one note about this movie, is that, like, Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum is Goldbluming it up. It's quippy. It's funny. He's charming. You know, he has like the opening scene with Attenborough, and it's just like, we're not making the same mistakes this time. He's like, no, you're making entirely new ones. And it's like, you're funny, you're scathing, you get to the point, but you're also well liked and kind of a ladies' man and all of this. And we show up and it's like, well, Vince Vaughn's the exact same character, and everyone else is the exact same character. All of these people are the exact same character. Like, even to the point that, like, Sarah, the woman he's dating, it's like, well, like, she's supposed to be this very different person. And they're all written as different people with different backgrounds and jobs. But then when crisis happens, they're all quit factories. And I'm like, no, one of you needs to be the cool-headed, like, you all need to play a different role, because you can't say that you're all different and then you all respond to a situation the same way, because people are how they respond, not what their education was or the job they worked. How people respond is who that character is, and they're all the same character.
They are all the same character. Yeah, it's not just the quips. I would also say it's the way they're responding to like the danger. None of them have like a different idea. None of them are like, climb a tree. No, I'll run away. Or like, let's use the rope to do a thing. They're all just like, we all climb the rope. We've all agreed. We climb the rope. There's no argument, even though they are always yelling over each other in this kind of It's Always Sunny kind of vibe, which is very weird for a Jurassic Park movie. They all ultimately agree, and they're not really arguing about what they're going to do. They're just kind of arguing while they do it. They're like, yeah, of course we're going to radio for help, but we're going to argue about the frequency the whole time.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
But there's no disagreement about calling for help.
About what to do. No, there's no disagreement at all. And they're all just kind of trying to outquip one another. You know, like even Eddie, who is the one who dies, who is the ultra competent one, he's like, have you tried turning it on? There's a little something called the on switch. And it's like, you're the tech guy. So are you the comedic relief? And then he goes, Jeff Goldblum goes to flick it on and is now doing comedic relief with a Spanish person that is looking for someone named Eduardo that he can't talk to. And his daughter's doing comedic relief, and then his girlfriend comes in and does comedic relief, and I'm like, you're now all seeming actually like idiots who don't understand the severity of the situation because none of you are not the comedic relief.
Is it weird that Vince Vaughn might be the least comedic relief?
That is also weird, yeah.
He's too busy being ultra competent and liked.
Yes, yeah.
And what I mean, viewers, by ultra competent and liked is that the other characters all like Nick because they're like a crew. These 4 people are all a crew. But then when they run into Roland's crew, the guys who are there to poach the dinosaurs, literally the second Roland walks away, everyone in that crew is like, we're listening to Nick. Nick's our new leader. Even though Nick destroyed all their equipment by letting the dinosaurs loose, they're like, we do what Nick says. And at the end of the movie, a helicopter shows up to save them that does not work for them just because Nick called and he was like, yeah, we need rescue. Sure, we work for Engine, yeah.
Nick's on it.
Nick's on it.
Don't worry about it.
But he's not like particularly funny. He's always charming because he's Vince Vaughn. But he's not really throwing out like the quips you would expect because I would assume if you hire Vince Vaughn for this, you're like, he's the comedic relief.
But you cast the lead is also the comedic relief. And the love interest is also the comedic relief. And the tech guy is also the comedic relief. And also the villain is also the comedic relief as well. Because, you have the other InGen guy who's also kind of like, not like the like everyone likes me comedic relief, but is the butt of the joke and is still just a joke factory as well, where it's just like when Roland's yelling at him to be like, I'm tired of running safaris for rich idiot dentists, and he's like, well, okay, you got me. I'm a little bootlicking foot boy, and it's like, okay, so you're a joke too.
You're a joke too. You get like killed jokingly by the T-Rex at the end. Like, it's a funny comeuppance. It's like, oh, he thought he could steal the little baby dinosaur, and now the T-Rex is going to eat him. It's not like one of the scary deaths, like all the other deaths.
Yeah. And him standing up and being like, okay, everyone, it's time to go, and no one listens, and then Nick gets up, and it's like, okay, it's time to go, and everyone listens, and it's like, okay, so, but you're the villain. Everyone is the joke. I mean, everyone's the joke.
It's weird that everyone is the joke and this movie's not particularly funny.
It's also not particularly funny.
It's not trying to be particularly funny, but you're absolutely right that every character except maybe the daughter is a joke factory. And even she's kind of like given joke lines that just aren't landing every now and then.
Yeah. It's a mess. It's a mess of writing.
Script-wise, it's a mess.
Some of the
dinosaur stuff rules.
Some of the yes,
the tractor off the cliff rules. It's a long sequence. I love 2 T-Rexes that are parents so they don't fight each other, because normally when you have like 2 T-Rexes, like they're gonna fight each other and that's the distraction while we get away.
Yeah.
So having 2 T-Rexes that are like, where's our kid?
It rules.
It rules. Great choice.
Getting the kid and then coming back, like even the pacing of that scene, I really like the we're trying to patch up the baby T-Rex's leg, letting it loose, a moment of reprieve, then the parents coming back. It's a great setup and release. It's a phenomenally tense scene.
Phenomenally tense, yeah. And then very fun, like classic stuff, laying on a pane of glass that's breaking and you fall down a cliff. That's just always good.
Terrific.
It's just always fun. None of these people would have the grip strength to climb that rope. It's
No,
a thing
in no
that's
way.
bothering me in movies now more and more.
Grip strength?
I've completely given up my sense of disbelief about grip strength.
Yes, yeah. Three people who have not trained in grip strength are not hanging a wet, muddy rope on a rainy day off of a cliff as an RV falls around you. It's not
Especially
happening.
once it's dangling, because like when you're using your legs and rappelling, that's totally different. While they're like in the truck and they can like walk on things.
Yeah.
But at one point they're like dangling, and there's no stuff. And
They
like,
didn't pull themselves
You
up.
all fell.
No,
they're all dead.
They all fell.
R.I.P.
But putting that aside, the glass scene is so tense and really works.
Yeah, the phone falling and breaking the glass. And
Terrific. Just the quick heads up and then grabbing the bag as well. Eddie's scene up top is now that is both comedy and tension. The composition of that really works, of him tying off a rope, throwing the rope down, coming up, trying to tie off the wire from the Mercedes onto the trailer, and then can't do it, and I need more of that. Now I got to retie the rope, and going back and forth. It was this juggling act that felt tense the whole time.
yeah, that was a really great, like, it felt like a comedy of errors, but also none of it was Eddie's fault. Like, you're not like, Eddie
Yes.
sucks at this. Eddie has just been put into a very difficult situation alone of keeping these three people alive
Yeah.
when he's come upon a tractor that's hanging off a cliff. So he's doing a great job, but he does have to keep running from rope to rope.
Yeah.
Almost in a video game-esque style of like, now this one needs to be retensioned. Now this one needs to be reversed so the truck doesn't fall off the cliff.
And in a way where, and all of the errors as well, he's not perfect, but he's always doing great, and the little errors feel real. Like when Peter Stormare's character keeps falling over while getting chased by the little compies, it's like he did just fall down a cliff, but he's not selling injury, and we didn't see like, oh, his lung was punctured by a tree branch, and he can barely breathe. He is just a man panicking so hard he's falling over like a teen in a horror movie that just got caught by Jason Voorhees having sex. And it's just like, but you're a military guy. Why are you doing this?
And you've been caught by a tiny dinosaur while you were having a poop.
But in the scene with Eddie, it's like, okay, there's a moment where he just kind of takes a breath and then figures out what he's going to do. And it's 3 seconds of silence that feels like a real person composing themselves. He's slipping in the deepest, worst mud I've ever seen while hearing T-Rexes coming. Like every mistake he makes of the like panicking, trying to get the dart gun out, but it's stuck on the netting. And just like, yeah, you wouldn't be able to see in that heavy of a rain and panicked a moment, and everything felt real, but he was still a goddamn hero.
He was still a goddamn hero. He was a hero to the point that I think this might have been my most emotional Jurassic Park death. It was like, you shouldn't have to get ripped apart by 2 dinosaurs after you've just saved the 3 main characters.
Yeah.
Like, main characters can die that aren't villains, but like, it shouldn't be like this.
Not
Like, it should be Samuel L. Jackson off screen.
Oh, okay. From
the
the first
first one.
yeah, okay. For some, my
Yeah.
brain went to Deep Blue Sea immediately.
Oh, I mean, that's
where I'm like, well,
amazing.
he
Or
is
like
a hero.
that.
Yeah, or like that. That also rules.
Yeah, Eddie shouldn't be aware that he's been ripped asunder.
Yeah, it should be the cowardly lawyer being eaten on a toilet, you know, that
Yes.
type of thing. And Richard Schiff, who plays Eddie, is just a great actor as well. He's phenomenal. And really sells this. And the way that car whips back and forth while it's towing, that just looks fucking awesome. And then when the 2 T-Rex shows up while the car is trying to pull and whip, it just rules.
It just
rules.
Yeah.
This is the best sequence of the movie.
Absolutely the best sequence of the movie. There's other sequences that I like that are just much shorter. Like, I really like Don't Run Into the Tall Grass, and then the velociraptors are in there, and you just see the grass kind of falling. You don't actually see the velociraptors for a while. You just see the corn kind of moving.
See, that's what I'm torn on, because it's a great trailer shot, and the scene and everything around it just kind of sucks, where it's just like, that does look cool. I fully agree. It looks cool. And I'm like, well, what is that building to? And it's just some extras fall down, and then we have a weird gymnastics karate fight in a warehouse. And I'm just, it's not the sequence of like the kids hiding in the kitchen in the first one.
No.
But it's a cool shot.
It's a cool shot. I mean, that's actually one of the only points where I'm like, oh, this actually script-wise, I see why we did this, because you're not supposed to go into the grass because that's where the velociraptors go. But P. Postlethwaite earlier established, like, they don't hunt when they're full. And so now the velociraptors have eaten all the extras. So our main characters go through the same path but don't get attacked.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like
yeah.
it's like, oh good, you're gonna be safe for a bit. So you do get a little bit of a reprieve because all the extras died for you.
Sure, yeah,
to clear the way.
Yeah.
But I agree it doesn't lead to anything while they're like, getting away. Like Nick doesn't do anything cool. He just gets straight to the radio and he's fine. They do have a long sequence of running away from the raptors, the three main characters, but the gymnastics thing is the only like thing they try.
Yeah, there's one moment of decent comedy I like in that sequence, and it's when Goldblum goes into the office and the velociraptor jumps and smashes through the window. He leaves the office and it jumps back through. That's a cute little thing in a relatively flat, boring sequence.
It is. I was very disappointed. There's a moment where the two girls are trapped in the shed, and then across from them, Jeff Goldblum is trapped in a car, and they're all being attacked by velociraptors. And then at some point, Jeff Goldblum just gets out of the car and runs. And I was like, I can't believe you didn't just ram this car into the shed.
Yeah, it feels like a weird setup.
Create like an exit point to run the raptors over, especially because your whole character's arc is you're never there for either of these characters.
Yeah.
The daughter is like, you're never there for me. You never want to hang out with me. Sarah's like, you never show up for dinners or whatever. It's cool that you're here on the island, but this is the first time you've ever showed up.
Yeah.
And he still never shows up.
Well, because there's no character beats in this movie.
There's no character beats.
There's no character beats.
It's so easy to add character beats.
Oh, I fully agree.
It's not hard.
But there's something so consistent about missing it for everyone.
That's nice. That's not sexist. It's not racist.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, they blew it for their lead character. It's like, no, they were just like, everyone stands around, everyone's quippy. No, there's no character beats.
They run away from dinosaurs.
Yes.
That's the movie.
That's the movie.
That's the movie.
And they don't push anyone as well. Like, I feel like this is something or this is a movie where Spielberg really kind of focused on some of the visual effects, particularly the San Diego sequence. But no one is pushed to give a performance, even when there's not necessarily big character beats, but there's moments where actors who are better than that fall flat. You know what I mean? Like, there are moments when Goldblum gets mad at his daughter in that early sequence where she shows up, they're getting ready to go to the island, and Ian Malcolm is there, and she's like, you can't just keep, like, ditching me and leaving me behind. And he's referencing, I guess, like her birth mother, and he's just like, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the woman who dropped you off at an airport and then flew away to Paris. I'm so sorry I yelled at you. And I'm like, this is a big you snapped at your daughter moment. And no one, and he doesn't sell it, she doesn't sell it. None of the like big emotions are sold by anyone, and it really feels like they weren't pushed to sell it either. Like, that's something where a director should be like, no, Goldblum, understand, you're furious. Like, you love this girl, and her mother has failed her, but she's getting mad at you. Do you realize how frustrating that would make you? And if you blow up, it's a big blow up. That someone you love doesn't understand how much you love them and how much displaced anger they're putting on you against someone else who's abandoned them right now. And he's just like, oh, get mad at your mother. Tap a wall.
Yeah, no, I agree that line should have felt like a slap in the face. Like, that line should have like been like, oh, I can't believe he said that. Like, and it was like still kind of surprising, I think, just script-wise, of like, who is the mom? Like, you just left me with more questions than emotional feelings.
They do that a good bit in here, too, yeah.
This movie is very much like, instead of emotions, we'll leave you with questions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that moment, instead of being like, oh, I was like, wait, what? She's been completely abandoned by her mother? And you also leave her all the time? Shit, sucks to be this girl.
Elaborate that?
More information.
More, please?
Yeah, I think the only times I really feel like real emotion from Goldblum, I keep wanting to call him Goldberg all week. Goldblum, I think the first scene with Richard Attenborough with Hammond.
That works.
That works. I don't know if it's because it's so contained. There's no dinosaurs. It's just a set. It's just the two of them one-on-one. They probably had as much time as they wanted. They also already have like this great chemistry. They're both great actors. So yeah, his quips are quips, but they're like fueled by urgency and a need of like stopping these people from getting to the island, of trying to convince Hammond to not send anyone at all. He finds out his girlfriend's gone. There's a real desperation in that scene, and then it never is felt again. Like, he finds out his daughter is on an island filled with dinosaurs, and he's just like, we got to get you out of here. I'm like, please be more upset about this.
Yes. Furious.
Like the line,
scared.
He actually has a line that says, I'm furious.
Yes.
And with
disappointed.
He says it with no emotional inflection whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's a little disappointing.
And the one with Attenborough, I agree that scene works because Attenborough is acting.
He is always acting.
And knows who that character is before the scene started and is being big and giving theater. And then it's someone who's being severe with someone who's being quippy. And if you want, like, for someone who is quippy and sardonic like Ian Malcolm, you need to be taking the shit out of someone who takes themselves too seriously. If no one takes themselves seriously, you're just kind of an embarrassing goof in the room. You know what I mean?
No, it's absolutely true. That's why he doesn't fit on the team of heroes.
Yeah, it doesn't work at all. But in that scene, it's like you have someone now who takes everything very seriously and thinks that they're right. And you're someone who takes the piss. And that actually really works. That
actually does work.
For performance and writing. Now, I want to go back to the velociraptor sequence. Because it has two things that to this day infuriate me. Like, I was mad before I even hit play. It's been a while since I rewatched this.
You hit it well.
Is that it stays with me is both the gymnastics kick or the
spin.
The spin around the bar, the parallel bar spin.
Into a kick.
Into a kicking a velociraptor. It's nothing, and it's so unearned, and it goes on for too long.
I 20% want to defend this. On paper, this works if you film it better.
Yes.
It absolutely works if you've set up that Malcolm is like trapped in a corner or is holding off the velociraptor some way. The velociraptor is in one position and it's above a bar. But instead, and like she could spin and kick it. And she's like, I have to save my dad. If I spin around that bar, I can kick it before something happens. But Malcolm is constantly running from the dinosaur, like up these set of stairs up to a roof. And she decides to spin like 30 seconds before she ends up kicking the dinosaur.
And she is spinning and changing her grip and spinning and warming up and rocking back and forth.
The
and then
judges,
a close-up
the
of
judges are watching,
and then a close-up of a backwards flip and changing the grip and spinning and flip and you are just murder. Like, you are just a meal. But I agree. If it was a velociraptor was next to a pole, oh my God, I've got an idea. Jump, one swing kick, and then maybe even you can add a dismount flourish. You can add some style.
I will accept a full circle first to get momentum.
Oh,
and then a kick.
Sure.
But none of the switch grip, none of the flipping the other way. What's that gonna do? What's flipping the other way gonna do?
It felt very Batman Forever.
Now, that's unfair. I love Batman Forever.
But without the rest of the context of Batman
just
Forever.
One scene from Batman Forever and put in a different movie.
Yeah, it felt
she
like...
was going to have skates in her boots.
It felt like Chris O'Donnell doing laundry. Like, this isn't the most efficient way to do any of this.
If there was a velociraptor in the room.
Yes. Yeah.
It could work.
It could work.
Which is what's so upsetting, because Steven Spielberg should have been able to make this work. It's like we've set up she's on gymnastics. It actually has a very fun end line of they kicked you off the team. It really actually works on paper. And then you filmed it so bad, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, but she quips, he quips, and it goes on too long.
It goes on way too long.
Everyone
if she jumps too early, it goes on too long.
The velociraptor watches her kind of get it all together for a while.
9 out of 10.
Huh.
Switch grip.
She's doing that, huh? Also, she starts doing it before the raptor gets into position, so there's no reason to have done that.
No, because it wasn't like she was trying to get away. Yeah. It might be a good way to get away from a raptor, because those tiny little claws, they can't jump on a bar.
Maybe they can't get you. Yeah.
They can't jump on a bar.
I get that. There's a way to film it.
There's a way to film it that works.
It's a poor story in that little sequence. And it lingers with me so much, because I remember seeing this movie in theaters when I was younger. And I'm about 12 maybe when I saw it. And even at the time, just like, I didn't feel like, I didn't have a critical mind. I'm 12. But it didn't make me feel the way the first one made me feel. And I was in the theater just being like, I'm having a fun time at the movies, but I don't feel things like I did during the first one. And when that happened, the whole theater applauded and wooed, and some people like stood up and were like, yeah, woo! And this is like a theater in Newfoundland. I'm like, this is before they serve alcohol. And I'm like, no one's drunk. No one's here for camp. You know what I mean? Like if you did that during like a Batman and Robin or a Batman Forever.
I've done that.
And I'm like, I get that. So I'm like, you weren't here for camp, and we're not drunk.
And we haven't seen it before. Sometimes when you like have seen a movie and it's a cult classic, you're like, it's time for the gymnastics scene. Like if we saw it in a viewing today, we'd all be like, the shitty gymnastics is about to happen.
And it's camp, and it's a wink and a nudge. And I just remember even as like a 12-year-old leaving the theater and being like, why'd they do that? I didn't understand why a group of people did a thing. And I just didn't, and that hung with me to this day.
Have you understood it since then? Have you figured it out?
I've never figured it out. I've never figured out why people behaved like that.
Can I try to like throw out some theories?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've done this before where when you're really hyped for a sequel to a movie you loved, you won't accept that it's bad as it's being bad. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have
Age of Ultron.
I was also thinking Age of Ultron was the exact movie I was thinking. Now, I accepted it was bad about 3/4 of the way through Age of Ultron. But I think if you're just in denial the whole time, you can pretend the shitty parts that are big are good, even though they're just big and shitty. So I feel like it was maybe just denial applause.
I could see that. I could see a denial
Unless
applause.
that girl's family was there.
Yeah, they were all there.
The family maybe were just, that was the first time
in St. John's,
they saw
Newfoundland in 1997.
Gymnastics fans.
Gymnastics fans. That
Also Newfoundland
big
known
gymnastics
for
convention. Big gymnastics.
See, I got
convention.
theories. If only we could go back.
I love this helps. You know what?
Did it really
This
help?
helps.
Does it
This
really
helps.
help?
I feel a little soothed.
I'm glad you feel soothed. What? I think I know what the second thing is, but let's explain it to the listeners.
There is a moment at the end of the velociraptor sequence, like 4 velociraptors have been chasing Julianne Moore, Jeff Goldblum, and the daughter's character, Ian, Sarah, and Kelly. And they've been chasing them. It's been the big sequence. One gets kicked out of a window, and it's like, okay, here we go. 2 of them start fighting each other, and it's like, okay, they're distracted for a bit. That's something. I don't really know what happened to the 4th. I think there was a 4th that fucked off. And then Julianne Moore's just rolling around on the ground, and dirt, earth, ground. And then she falls through the ground into a different building, which I guess was a below ground level building, which does happen. But she falls through what to my human eyes look like dirt and lands on the top of a light. And then the light falls at a 45-degree angle. And then she slides down the light, which causes her to tumble through a window. That she does a full somersault, one of those underground windows, which she does like a somersault forward out of, and then it cuts to a different camera where suddenly Ian Malcolm and his daughter are, and she just stands up into frame, and there's no building or anything in the background, and it's like watching a Rube Goldberg machine and then cutting to somewhere else. It makes no sense, and it's so ugly to look at.
It is so ugly. It's almost impressive because, like, they obviously came up with the idea of she rolls out the window, she'll stand up in the sequence wherever Malcolm and Kelly are. But we haven't built... But like, and then they want this like long one shot of them running to the helicopter. But the helicopter run isn't anywhere near a building that looks like what she was in.
Yeah.
And she was also underground.
She was also underground, but also fell out of a window.
Yes. And then lands in a completely different area.
A field.
Yeah. And like by land, we don't mean she like fell out of like a rooftop. She was rolling forward. She rolled forward into a field somehow. And away from all buildings.
Away from all buildings and windows.
Even though it was one roll.
And it somehow draws the most attention to itself.
It's very noticeable.
It's trying to be like, hey, don't pay attention to this. So it made the biggest, flashiest thing out of just cutting to her being there.
It would be really funny in like a scary movie-esque parody of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It would be a really good purposeful gag.
Right, yeah, she falls through a roof, onto a lamp, into another window, out into a gutter that washes down into the sewer system, which flushes her out into the ocean, at which point a geyser shoots her up and she lands inside a hot air balloon, which slowly lowers into the field that they're already in.
Mm-hmm. And then they take a helicopter out.
And then no one addresses what just happened.
No, that's just a normal way to get away from a velociraptor.
Just a perfectly normal way to get away. I hated it. I hate it so much.
I know. You were so ready to talk about it the second it happened.
it.
The movie's not over and you're like, see, she wasn't near there. We're all seeing this, right? You're like looking around the room like other people were here.
So mad.
We're all seeing this.
So mad. Someone help.
A much smaller detail that bothered me, and this was actually just like, I don't even know why I noticed this. It's I don't know if it was continuity or product placement. It might be both. Vince Vaughn uses like 4 different cameras in one short scene, and it was driving me insane. So they've just met Sarah. Because Sarah was already on the island. So they've just met Sarah, and Vince Vaughn's seeing dinosaurs for the first time. And the sequence I'm about to describe isn't like a joke, and the joke is that he has 4 cameras.
Because that could have been funny.
That's funny.
That could have been funny.
The fact that he's like, I got to film it with this one, and then I got to film it with this one. That actually sounds like a great scene of a way to get product placement in for 4 different really cool cameras. Of like, what if I did this? Because Julianne Moore takes the cameras he's using. She's like, oh, it's a Nikon. So he's like, he's got to take another camera out because she's taken his. So he has this other camera out. It's like a regular camera. And then like, Jeff Goldblum's talking next to him. And the next time we cut to him, he's got like a video camera. It's silver and it's an upright one. I'm like, okay. And then there's like 2 more cutaways to Julianne Moore. And then we come back. And Vince Vaughn has a 3rd different camera, or 4th because Julianne Moore took his first one. He's got a 4th different camera.
And it's not played for comedy.
It's not played for comedy. And then the next time they cut back, he's got the camcorder again.
Yeah.
And it's not played for comedy.
And I don't think it's product placement. The specific mention of Nikon is product placement.
That one's product placement.
Nikon paid to be where the camera's in the movie. Julianne Moore says, is that a Nikon? Let me use your Nikon, which is not how anyone talks. But whatever. You take the money, you got to do it. But the Vince Vaughn always fiddling with a new camera thing, it feels like just a continuity error no one caught and someone who didn't know what to do with his props on days that they were filming different shots on different days. Where it's like, he filmed the first one on Tuesday and took out a camcorder and started fiddling with it because you got to be doing something in the background. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm a video guy. I took out the camcorder and I flip out the view screen. I'm doing something in the background. And then like 2 days later, they're filming different angles and coverage of the same scene and he just takes out a different camera. And he's just always, they're like, you need to be doing something in the background, Vince. And he's like, well, I'm going to reach into the bag and take out a camera. But there's no consistency as to what or why or what he's shooting. It's just always him holding something slightly different.
Yeah, I've never wanted product placement more.
Yeah, to be like, lock in on one camera.
One camera, Vince.
One fucking camera, my guy.
I appreciate that Nick is such a professional that he brought 4 different cameras as backups and placements because his whole job is to videograph these dinosaurs. So, way to be competent professional, Vince, Nick. But you got to pick a favorite.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got to pick one.
This was driving me insane in the background.
As well it should.
This movie also fails because the T-Rex eats a dog.
And that's also not cool.
I mean, it happens off screen. It's a dog who can't even run away.
It's a tied down dog. It's like not fun.
It's like the goat in the first one.
Yeah, it is. I think maybe that is what they're going for, is the reference to the goat.
I've only just realized that as I said it.
Yeah,
but it's still a dog.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
It's a dog.
It's a dog and it's not fun.
You don't kill Eddie. Don't kill dogs.
Don't kill Eddie. Don't kill dogs. I felt for Eddie and the dog thing. I was just like, well, don't kill dogs. You don't kill dogs. No one likes it. No one likes it when you do that in a movie.
Another thing that made this movie just like a little bit lazy and not enough work went into it is I was very bothered, maybe not nearly as much as your Julianne Moore thing, that they used the same gag twice of just showing water getting bloody instead of showing a kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the first time they do it when like the little guys, the compies kill Peter Normair, it's like this stream that he falls in behind a log just gets red. I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. I wouldn't mind watching him die because it's kind of the whole point of these movies. But, the stream turning red, I understand he's been killed. Let's go. And then like 5 minutes later, the T-Rex like grabs a guy from under a waterfall and the waterfall just turns red instead of us seeing the kill. I was like, you just did this, Steve.
Yeah.
Steve. Did you not notice you did this twice?
I also find it very strange that like for a franchise in a movie where it's like the dumb people or the worst people get their comeuppance kind of a thing, that the bad characters get these soft off-screen deaths, and Eddie had the most violent one.
Eddie had by far the most violent death.
And it made me feel something, and I'm like, okay. But then when you keep hiding the bad guy deaths, I'm like, oh, so there's no tonal consistency here. Like, they should all be violent or none of them are, but it feels weird that the only violent kind of like, let's have fun with this scene was a character that was quite nice.
Yeah, because Peter Stormare dies off screen. I think the rich guy at the end, we don't see him. Like, we just see the T-Rex behind him. We're like, he's gonna get eaten. And they don't really
do it
show
off
it.
screen.
Yeah, the guy in the waterfall.
Yeah.
One of the henchmen has a very funny death, which is he just gets crushed by the foot, and then he's stuck on the bottom.
That's kind of funny.
That's kind of funny. But he was actually a nice guy. I wouldn't even call him a villain.
He was whatever.
He seemed neutral.
Yeah. He was doing a job.
So yeah, really mean to Eddie. I feel like the way that people talk about that girl in the first Jurassic World movie who gets ripped apart by the pterodactyls.
Ah, yeah.
And everyone's like, she was just doing her job.
What are we doing here? This seems weird.
This feels really mean.
And you seem too into it, frankly.
Yeah, it wasn't that much. It wasn't like a long sequence of Eddie getting torn in two, but he didn't get eaten in one bite or anything.
It's a bit much.
I
remembered one other product placement thing that I wanted to bring up. That I just thought was just like kind of funny. In the first movie, they were Jeeps. All the vehicles on the island were Jeeps. In this one, it's Mercedes. Mercedes is the vehicle, the SUV that they're using in most of the movie. It's the one that Eddie's whipping around left and right. It's clearly Mercedes product placement in this one. At one point, they reach a mural that's of the main island from the first movie. And they have all of those, what were in the first movie, Jeeps kind of going through what the amusement park is. And there's just carefully placed mud over where the Jeep logo is in the painting.
Was it?
To hide the Jeep logo. Because they're like, we want it to be accurate to the original movie, but we can't show the Jeep logo because Mercedes paid for this one. And I just found that very funny. Just a delicately placed, like as if it was like the nipples of a Jeep. It was just a...
Oh, we can't show that.
Yeah, just a delicately placed leaf over the Jeep insignia on a painting of the original film.
Oh man, that's very funny because you could also just make a painting that doesn't have Jeeps. There's a lot of stuff in Jurassic Park.
They needed to honor the canon that original theme park used Jeeps.
Yeah. That is very funny. My similar tiny funny thing I really liked is when the T-Rex goes through the Blockbuster. And there's posters for fake movies.
Oh, yeah.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger King Lear is my absolute favorite. A Last Action Hero reference.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the fake movies that Arnold stars in Last Action Hero. So I'm like, this is a hat on a hat of a funny reference.
It certainly is.
The idea of Arnold even being in a Shakespeare thing at all, wildly funny.
Yep.
It being a reference to a fake trailer in a different movie, next level funny.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think it was like Tom Hanks's like tsunami something. Yeah, and it's like, oh, it's Castaway somehow.
Oh, it's Castaway. He also did a movie called Volcano.
Okay. Well, this was years before Castaway, so I'm like, it feels like a Castaway foreshadowing.
Maybe it's Volcano reference then.
Could be that.
It makes a big wave, and then they're on a raft for a bit.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that movie was.
Whatever that was, but the King Lear one's better.
The King Lear
one is better.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great poll.
That's very good stuff. Now, look, the San Diego stuff. Let's kind of wrap up by talking about that, because that I think is the one where all of the visual effects went into. It was a lot of the trailers. It was a lot of like, this is the movie. We're waiting to get to San Diego. And while story-wise it's not satisfying or necessary, you could tell that that's where most of the animatronics and budget and money and film and careful filmmaking went.
I actually disagree.
Okay.
I think San Diego looks the worst to me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I know a dinosaur doesn't belong in a city, but I think like the shading looks the worst on the dinosaur there. I think they don't use the animatronics as much in San Diego because like when they're on the island, they have like the two big heads for the T-Rexes that they're using all the time. The little guys felt very real. I think they had a couple real ones like that are hanging off Peter Stormare, but I thought the little compies looked very real and were very well done. I had no problem with like any of the velociraptors except like one scene where they're like fighting each other right in front of Julianne Moore and she's not reacting to any movement and she clearly can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I think looks bad, which is more of just like a not telling the actor what's going on more so than the actual visual effects. And yeah, once it got to San Diego, maybe I also just didn't care. Because I also have like no motivate. Like I'm like, whatever. The T-Rex isn't gonna win. He's not Godzilla. He's only a little big. You're not going to take over the city of San Diego.
Fair.
Eventually, you're going to
Fair.
get shot with a big gun, unless they get you out of here.
They have bombs. They have, you'll get,
I mean, Pete Postlethwaite almost got you.
Yes.
Just with a trank card. So I'm not worried about it. But yeah, I just didn't, I actually didn't find that it looked that good in San Diego.
Interesting. I do agree that, like, on the island, the trailer off a cliff sequence, that is the big animatronic eyes outside the window. It looks fantastic. It feels very classic Jurassic Park of, like, we're working within our limitations. I think San Diego was expanding our limitations. You are getting...
It's not hidden behind any trees
or
foliage.
It interacting with the environments. Like, it running down the street and hitting that bus, and, like, you're seeing a real bus collapse, stunt people kind of fly out the side of the bus, and it's in, like, a wide shot. It's not an eye through glass. It's not a, like, now we're inside the trailer while it moves off of a cliff. It's not using clever camera techniques or hiding it or things like that. I'm just like, holy shit, this is a credible T-Rex running down a street. So I think it is a lot of attention and care given, a lot of work put into this sequence that is not necessarily emotionally motivated.
All right, I'll give you that. I hadn't considered the care of destroying cars and buildings without actually having a giant T-Rex there. I was mostly focused on, like, the shading's not quite right. But you're right about this merging the two back in 1997.
Yeah.
Of a digital thing destroying a moving bus in a wide shot. That actually is pretty fucking
And
cool.
having a practical bus and rigging explosives and stunt people to pop out the side of a bus while you actually have half of a bus collapse while using part of an animatronic head and then comping in CGI later. It's just super ambitious and really well done.
All right.
But I agree, it's boring.
It's boring.
It's boring, but
Okay.
a lot of hard work goes into it, and I respect that much. Your hard work was boring.
You worked so hard on this. It's boring.
It's tough.
It's boring, but you worked so hard. I think the biggest question is when the T-Rex arrives in San Diego and the crew's all dead, but the T-Rex is still in the hold? What?
I think that there are deleted scenes from this movie, and I think that there is some stuff around a velociraptor getting out on the boat, or I don't even know if they deleted it or never filmed it.
I think it's in the novelization.
Oh, okay.
I recall. This is maybe...
Oh, that actually sounds quite
the
right.
novelization is like the raptors came on the boat and then the autopilot engaged.
Right.
And the raptors jumped off.
Yes.
Because, like, the T-Rex didn't kill the crew. It's still in the hold.
Yeah, it's still in the hold, so it didn't get out. And on top of that, the crew are dead in small rooms that are not destroyed.
No.
Like, the T-Rex could kill you in a small room by smashing through the wall, but it can't make it through a human-sized door without damaging the structure.
No. I mean, I came up with a cool idea watching this movie. What a great way to do a murder if you have dinosaurs around.
Oh, interesting.
Because, like, what if that crew just really wanted to kill each other? I'm the captain. I hate my first mate. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to frame a dinosaur.
Rival company. Similar to the first one where you have Newman.
No, he's Newman.
No, he's Newman. I know it's Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight. We have Wayne Knight working for, I forget, whatever rival trying to steal some dino DNA. Maybe this could be a similar thing. A group of just mercenaries come on, kill everyone, take a bit of T-Rex DNA, and leave.
And then they're like, they'll blame the T-Rex somehow.
They'll think it was a dinosaur. Why wouldn't they?
I think this is a cool plot for a Jurassic movie.
Yeah.
The Jurassic murderer.
Yeah. Yeah, there is
Dexter level kind
there's
of.
weird corporate espionage happening in this or whatever. So in this world.
This world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. And it's like such a peak part of the movie. And they don't want us to ask questions. It's like, how did Julianne Moore get to the field? There's things we're just not supposed to ask in a Jurassic Park movie. But you do ask those questions because number one would have answered them. So, like, when you see Jurassic Park 2, you're like, why are my questions not being answered?
Oh, yeah,
Jurassic Park 1 was so good.
Good at answering
Steven Spielberg's
everything.
Back.
Yeah. Yeah, Jurassic Park 1 was so good at set up, payoff, set up, payoff. Everything that gets set up gets paid off in a really, really well done way.
Yeah, and then Jurassic Park 2 is like, here's a bunch of setup that won't have payoff, and here's a bunch of payoff that had no setup.
Interesting. Yes, it is both.
It's two different movies.
It is.
That
two
didn't go
different
together.
movies. Yeah, it really doesn't. It really
doesn't go together.
No, the San Diego stuff is not. It doesn't belong in this movie.
No.
It's a completely different movie.
Yeah, the fact that Spielberg even admitted, like, it was supposed to be the third movie, but he was like, I'm not going to do another movie, so I put it in this one. I'm like, I can tell.
Yeah.
It was wildly tacked on.
Yeah. It's amazing that you can see a talented person clock out. Like mid-shift, be like, I'm just actually kind of mentally done with this.
I'm over dinosaurs. I mean, I've had my hyperfixations just kind of go away.
Yeah. And it's also impressive to just be one of the most talented people in the world where even when you're mentally clocked out, you still made something that's kind of incredible and remarkable and groundbreaking in visual effects and this and that. To be like, why are they in San Diego? I don't know, man, but we invented a new type of camera to film this T-Rex hitting a bus sequence. It's like, you invented something? And you don't even want to be here. Like, it's that level of like, it's kind of frustrating.
Your lowest bar, I will never reach.
Yeah. You quit a job and then built a new building on your way out. Like, it's kind of wild. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
fair enough.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good about the Lost World Jurassic Park. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. One more small thing to the annoying continuity very quickly is because you brought it up. The high hide is above the tree line.
Yes.
Just small things like this.
Small
the whole
things
movie.
like this.
It's like when Spider-Man is swinging around and there's no buildings above him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the high hide that they hide in, listeners, is like, it's supposed to just be like you throw a rope over a tree and then you can hide up in the trees.
And you wrench it
but
up.
The high hide is higher than every single tree.
And they show every angle so you can see there's no other trees.
It's like from a hot air balloon, basically.
Yeah.
Is the only explanation of how this is working.
Yep.
So anyway, one last final continuity error.
And I'd say the one last final thing that I just remembered that I want to throw down that displeased me was the Jurassic Park theme, iconic score. They use it terribly and in all of the wrong scenes. The first time you hear the Jurassic Park theme is when Ian Malcolm is just like, all right, I guess I'll go. Bum 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 ba-da-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. And I'm looking at a hallway. It's a hallway. There's no grandeur. There's no like.
There's no grandeur. I think. Do they also play it again when Vince Vaughn finds the poster?
Yes,
and
they do play it. Then.
I was like, oh, okay. We're thinking of better movies.
Yeah,
you're trying to invoke.
You're trying to invoke things, but you're also not using it at the right moments.
I mean, I would not say that was actually like a bigger picture thing that I do think is wrong with this movie, which is it's the second movie and the awe of dinosaurs has already been removed from every character pretty much.
Yeah.
There's like 1 second where two of them, I think Vince Vaughn is like, whoa. And then like all the hunters show up and they're all just super chill about chasing dinosaurs. Not a second of like, whoa, dinosaurs from any of them. And it's just not interesting. People should be like, whoa, dinosaurs all the time.
All the time they should be saying, whoa, dinosaurs.
Everyone all the time should be like, whoa, dinosaurs.
Yes. Yeah. Whoa, I just pet an animal I've never pet before. Even animals that exist.
Yeah, I pet a koala. I'm like, that's my whole week.
That was going to be my example, too. That's
koala.
So fucked up that I've never pet a koala. If I touched a koala, then I would just, all I would talk about for weeks would be like, hey, I pet a koala. That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't even have those here.
Yes. Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change. So now that we've discussed everything we've discussed, what would you change about this if you could change anything? Before we do ask that final question, we'll remind you, as we do every week, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps us move up the charts, find new listeners. It warms our hearts. It makes us feel good. And when new listeners find us, they read those reviews, and it makes it more likely that they'll actually hit download and start listening and give us a chance. So do that.
Give us a chance.
Help us have other people give us a chance. Free way to support the podcast. If you do want to support the podcast monetarily, you can do that over on our Patreon page. At Patreon, you can get cool exclusive bonuses by subscribing at whatever level is in your budget. You can get these episodes early and ad-free, which will be super handy next week. Maybe you're on the fence about seeing that new Jurassic World. You'll be able to hear that episode early, decide if you want to go see that movie opening weekend. Really awesome. That's only at $3, so it doesn't take much. At $10, you'll get an exclusive bonus episode of this podcast every single month, along with immediate access to the full back catalog.
So many good things. You also get the early ones at the $10 level. It all cascades down.
You get all of it.
There's trickle down economics at patreon.com only.
At patreon.com/FromSuperheroes. So head on over, check out the options. Patreon.com/FromSuperheroes. That's Patreon.com/FromSuperheroes. And now let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change if you could change anything?
My change is no San Diego. We do not go to the mainland at all. None of this happens. I actually am going to stay on the island for about 20 more minutes. Like, I still think the runtime is fine, but I want this movie completely on the island because we just weren't there long enough for any of the characters to, like, have their darkest moment of the soul. Things never got desperate enough, like, in the original. Like when they're all just, like, so tired and Timmy's been electrocuted.
I was just about to say Timmy's been electrocuted. He looks like his bell's been wrong.
Yeah, they slept in a tree. Like, they're grimy and, like, they've been at it for so long. And these characters never get to that point. They kind of get saved within, like, 2 hours. Like, they're like the communication center's like a couple hours away, and then they just get a helicopter super fast. They need to be there longer. It needs to be grimier. They also need to get separated because literally I need one character arc. They have yelled at Malcolm that he never shows up for either of these characters. They have to get accidentally separated, and then when they're about to be killed by velociraptors, Malcolm shows up and saves them. Just a small thing, just a small character arc, and it'll be so satisfying. And the gymnastics scene is shot better, and I'm actually going to keep it because I think it would be fun if you filmed it better. They stay on the island. They get separated. They have more of a grimy, dark night of the soul about it. They go through a lot more trials and tribulations, and Malcolm is separated from them and comes back and saves them at the end, even though he could have left. There's a helicopter on the platform, but he goes back instead. It's probably going to be the big thing. He's cooler than Nick for a second. So that's my big change. Andrew, what would you change in The Lost World Jurassic Park?
I like that. That's a nice arc for Ian Malcolm. Of I actually am going to be there for you when you need me to be there for you. I like that. I think my big change that they set up the whole first section of this movie and then never do anything with it, and it actually makes me dislike all of the characters other than Ian Malcolm, is they set up the fact that he is disgraced. That everyone else who survived the first island signed the NDAs, agreed not to talk about it. And he is an insane scientist who's been going around on television saying that dinosaurs are real and they're on an island and they killed all of my friends. He is a man who has gone through severe trauma. He's witnessed people ripped limb from limb and has told his story, and the world has laughed at him. And I actually feel like I'm actually getting choked up thinking. I feel quite tragic for him at the beginning to be like, I'm a man who's disgraced, who people on the subway laugh at me. No one believes when I tell them I watched my friends die in front of me. That's horrific.
Mm-hmm. And only to get the truth out there about these deaths. Not for money. He didn't take $1. He didn't take a dime from anyone.
I'm trying to do it for animals and for the respect of the memory of people who died there. And no one respects or believes him. And then everyone's like, oh, dinosaurs are real. Huh. No one apologizes. No one says anything. And if you're going to set up this tragic, brutally tragic story for his background, it needs to be what the movie is about with every character. His girlfriend, Sarah, is one of the few people who believed him from the jump. And I believe that Ian, the main guy, Attenborough, he sets it up in the beginning to be like, Sarah sought you out and wanted to talk to you in the hospital and believed you. I would really like it if Sarah was like, I agreed, I didn't tell you because you're dealing with your trauma. I would like it if people respected his trauma. It was like, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to relive your friends' deaths. And I wanted to get photos because I want the world to believe you like I believe you.
Oh, that would be a really nice motivation instead of her just being like, I need to prove T-Rexes were good parents.
Yeah, to be like, I find this interesting and I don't respect the horrors you've been through.
Yeah, it's fine. We're 10 feet away from the dinosaur.
It makes her quite selfish.
She's very selfish and unlikable.
She's very selfish and unlikable.
And also a hypocrite. She pets all the dinosaurs. She tells everyone else
and then she's like, don't touch it. And she's like, why aren't you better with dinosaurs? Obviously, they're chasing the scent, and then goes around covered it. It's a very frustrating character, and I never feel love between them. But I believed you, and I want the world to believe you is like, holy shit, you love him, and you respect his trauma. And I even think that characters like Vince Vaughn's character, who's like, I'm doing this for the paycheck. These things aren't real. The second he sees that they're real, should be like, so you survived this. Like, people should be treating Ian Malcolm with like, I'm fucking sorry help, like, even when things are going well at the beginning, should be like, I'm sorry. Like, holy shit, you've been here. I can't believe everyone didn't believe you. Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, I even want it at the end. Like once the T-Rex is on the loose, I feel like news reporters should be like, Ian Malcolm, you're here. What do we do? We're so sorry we didn't believe you. You were right. There's a T-Rex here.
Yeah, you should be like, I told you so. Like, you should be screaming, I told you so. So I hate that they give him a very tragic backstory.
A very interesting tragic backstory.
And very interesting.
That you can really, like, put a good arc on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they just didn't get any arc on it. They just airballed it.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be a lovely change.
And even then it can combine with yours to be like, you can still have loved ones and family members to be like, why aren't you there for us? And to be like, well, because I'm on an island. I'm here by myself. No one in the world believes me. Like, I feel alone, which is why I'm not there for other people. And then it can be like, I don't feel so alone anymore. And now I am emotionally available to be there for you. And it works both ways. I think it makes it a much richer story.
Fuck yeah, that's lovely. I think that works great. I would love that for this story. It would be so satisfying.
Yeah.
We as the viewer would be like, we told you.
Yeah. If you give characters severe trauma, don't make everyone laugh at them.
Yeah, it's not nice.
It's not nice.
It's Thor in Endgame, and we're all like, why is everyone mean to Thor?
Yeah.
His whole world died.
Yeah, and they're like, he gained weight. I'm like, yeah. No,
Yeah.
Help him.
Help him.
You fucks.
Asgard's gone.
Help him.
Help him.
So I think we did it.
I love this. I love this Jurassic World we came up with.
Yeah, it's better. Well, that's going to do it for us this week on the podcast. Next week, we'll be back talking about Jurassic World Rebirth.
We're pretty sure.
We're pretty sure it's titled Rebirth. We'll be back talking about that next week on the podcast. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, once again, if you're in the Vancouver area, I'm performing there July 19th. Ticket links will be in the episode description and on most of my social media. I am at Ivimey, Ivimey.
Oh, you can find me at Words of Diana on Tumblr and Blue Sky.
And you can find both of us most places at From Superheroes, or check out everything we create over at FromSuperheroes.com. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.